This is a Fonzie Studio podcast. Welcome to Tales from the First Nations. I'm Jay Idle, and every week I'll share with you a tale and ancient wisdom of the native tribes of North America. I'll be joined by my cats, Dawa and Fonzie, who will undoubtedly make their presence known at some point, so I might as well just list them as co-hosts. We hope you'll enjoy the tales and wisdom, raise your vibration, and enrich your life with us every week. Welcome, friends. Welcome to the 89th episode of Tales from the First Nations. I'm your host, Jay Idle. Back in episode 27, we spotlighted the drum and its powerful importance for our Native American ancestors. Well, today I wanted to spotlight the flute. The flute holds deep significance in many Native American cultures as an instrument of communication, emotion, and spiritual connection. Traditionally crafted from wood or cane, the flute's soft, breath-like sound is often associated with the human voice and the natural world. Among plains, woodland, and southwestern tribes, the flute was commonly used in courtship, allowing a player to express feelings that might be difficult to speak out loud. Its music was believed to carry intention and sincerity, making it a powerful symbol of honesty, longevity, and personal expression. Spiritually and symbolically, the flute is often connected to creation, fertility, and harmony with nature. Legends about the first flute describe it as a gift from animals, spirits, or the wind itself. It reinforces the belief that music comes from listening to the natural world. Figures such as Kokopelli, the flute-playing spirit of many Pueblo traditions, embody renewal, abundance, and joy. In ceremonies and stories, the flute reminds people about the sacred breath of life and the importance of balance between humans, the land, and the spirit world. I have 4 legends for you today about the origin of the flute, and our first one comes from the Lakota. It's simply called the flute. Once, many generations ago, the people had drums, gourd rattles, and bull roarers, but no flutes. At that long time ago, a young man went out on a hunt. Meat was scarce, and the people in his camp were hungry. He found the tracks of an elk and followed them for a long time. The elk, wise and swift, is the one who owns the love charm. If a man possesses elk medicine, the girl he likes cannot help liking him too. He will also be a lucky hunter. This young man I'm talking about had no elk medicine. After many hours, he finally sighted his game. He was skilled with bows and arrows and had a fine new bow and a quiver full of straight, well-feathered, flint-tipped arrows. Yet, the elk always managed to stay just out of range, leading him on and on and on. The young man was so intent on following his prey, he hardly noticed where he went. When night came, he found himself deep inside a thick forest. The tracks had disappeared, and so had the elk. There was no moon. He realized he was lost, and it was too dark to find his way out. Luckily, he came upon a stream with cool, clear water. He had been careful enough to bring a hide bag of dried meat pounded with berries and kidney fat, strong food that will keep a man going for a few days. After drinking and eating, he rolled himself into his fur robe, propped his back against a tree, and tried to rest. But he couldn't sleep. The forest was full of strange noises and the cries of night animals. The hooting owls, the groaning trees, and the wind. It was as if he heard these sounds for the first time. Suddenly, there was an entirely new sound. A kind neither he nor anyone else had ever heard before. It was mournful and ghost-like. It made him afraid, so he drew his robe tightly about himself and reached for his bow to make sure it was properly strung. For as frightening as it was, the sound was also like a song, sad but beautiful, full of love, hope, and yearning. Then, before he knew it, he was asleep, he dreamed the bird called Wagnuka, the red-headed woodpecker, appeared singing in strangely beautiful song, telling him, "Follow me, and I will teach you." When the hunter awoke, the sun was already high. On a branch of the tree against which he was leaning, he saw a red-headed woodpecker. The bird flew away to another tree and another, but never very far, looking back all the time at the young man as if to say, "Come on." Then once more he heard that wonderful song, and his heart yearned to find the singer. Flying towards the sound, leading the hunter, the bird flittered through the leaves with its bright red top, making it easy to follow. At last, it lighted on a cedar tree and began hammering on a branch, making a noise like the fast beating of a small drum. Suddenly there was a gust of wind, and again the hunter heard that beautiful sound right above him. Then he discovered that the song came from the dead branch on which the woodpecker tapped his beak. He realized the wind made the song as it whistled through the hole the bird had drilled. "Friend," said the hunter, "let me take this branch home. You can make yourself another." He took the branch, a hollow piece of wood full of woodpecker holes that were about the length of his forearm. He walked back to his village, bringing no meat, but happy all the same. In his teepee, the young man tried to make the branch sing for him. He blew on it. He waved it around. No sound came. It made him sad. He wanted so much to hear that wonderful new sound. He purified himself in the sweat lodge and climbed to the top of a lonely hill. There, resting with his back against a large rock, he fasted, going without food or water for 4 days and nights, crying for a vision that would tell him how to make the branch sing. In the middle of the 4th night, the bird with the bright red top appeared, saying, "Watch me," turning himself into a man, showing the hunter how to make the branch sing, saying again and again, "Watch this now." And in his dream, the young man watched and observed very carefully. When he awoke, he found a cedar tree. He broke off a branch and, working many hours, hollowed it out with a bowstring drill, just as he had seen the woodpecker do in the dream. He whittled the branch into the shape of the bird, with a long neck and an open beak. He painted the top of the bird's head with the sacred red color. He prayed. He smoked the branch up with incense of burning sage, cedar, and sweetgrass. He fingered the holes as he had seen the man do in his vision, meanwhile blowing softly into the mouthpiece. All at once there was the song, ghost-like and beautiful beyond words, drifting all the way to the village, where the people were astounded and joyful to hear it. With the help of the wind and the woodpecker, the young man had brought them the first flute. The flute is truly an amazing instrument, and it's no wonder it was of such importance to so many native people. Our next story is the Comanche flute origin. The flute came to the Comanche people by way of a man who had suffered greatly. One by one, his 4 children and wife had died. In his sorrow, he wept bitterly for many months. When his tribe moved camp, he would set his teepee away from the others, so as not to disturb them with his constant weeping. One night he had a dream. He was told that his spirit was in danger of breaking from his constant mourning. He was told that he could release his sorrow through music. For many weeks, he thought about the meaning of the dream. One day, as he was walking in the woods, he heard a new sound. He followed the sound until it came upon a cedar grove. Some of the old cedars with dead branches in which woodpeckers had drilled holes. Each time as the wind blew, it created a sweet and soothing sound. Remembering his dream about his sorrow and music, he took inspiration from the cedar branch with the holes and set forth to form an instrument. Some time later, he had made a flute. The energy he had put into his tears and sorrows now went into his music, thus creating music of great beauty and love. In doing so, he let go of his grief and sorrow and preserved the wholeness of his spirit. It is great that he was able to take his pain and channel it into something useful. I feel that a lot of musicians do that for us, and that's why we relate so strongly, because of their pain and their emotions. They're things that we can relate to and bond over. Not only can the flute help channel pain, it can channel love. This is the origin of the courting flute. The origin of the courting flute is thus, they say. Among the people there was a youth who wished to court girls, but alas, he loved only one maiden, they say. It came to pass that he met her at the watering place, but the maiden only laughed at him and said, "Who do you think you are, that I should marry one such as you? A dweller among the tents without a home is absurd." And the wicked words she reviled him caused him to feel much shame. For indeed this maiden was a chief's daughter, and looked with abhorrence upon the poor boy. It came to pass that the youth thought, "She has brought me great shame. It would be just as well if I died immediately." So at dawn he shot an arrow northward and walked following it. In the evening he was about to stop to rest. He found a fat deer impaled by the arrow which he shot. He took a piece of the flesh, roasted it, and ate it. After he had eaten, the ache of his heart was somewhat eased, and being very tired, he soon slept. So it was for 4 days. At dawn he would shoot an arrow, and at dusk he would find a deer killed by the arrow. He would butcher the animal, roast the meat, and eat, until finally he felt a little more cheerful. As he sat alone on the 4th evening, he thought, "I guess I might as well go home." But suddenly he heard human voices coming from a grove of trees. Expecting the worst, he thought, "Even if they kill me, what of it? It is death that I seek." But as they drew near, and their voices grew clearer, he heard that they were speaking Dakota. One of the two said, "Friend, you give it to him." But the other replied, "No, friend, you give it to him." Again the first spoke, "Friend, you properly tell him." Again the other refused, "But no, friend, you tell him." At last they stopped just within the circle of firelight, and wonder of wonders, the boy saw that they were unsurpassably handsome young men, and as they stood there, their bodies seemed to emit glimmering light. Finally one spoke, saying, "Boy, to be sure, we know that you have much pain in your heart. But a second time, this will never be so. Listen well." They had with them a long flute, and one began to play. From the mouth of this flute, which was made like that of the gar, came a sweet, piercing sound. Then they said to him, "Take this along with you, boy, and go home. At midnight, when the people are sleeping, walk through the camp, playing this flute, and it will surely happen that all the women will get up and follow you." Then the two handsome young men turned about, and lo and behold, the boy saw 2 elks disappear among the trees. The boy returned home, and as the people slept, he walked among the tents, playing on the flute. As the music filled the air, the women all arose from their beds, and dragging their blankets, began to follow him. They crowded around him, but he ignored them all. So entranced by the wonderful music was he. One girl accosted him repeatedly, saying, "Say, don't you remember me? I'm the chief's daughter." But he heard only the sound of the wonderful music which came from the mouth of the flute. One girl, however, didn't join the throng. She only sat alone quietly in her lodge, and it was she that the youth sought out and married. It is said that this boy was the original elk. Among the Dakotas, the elk is symbolic of masculine beauty, virility, virtue, and charm. It is sometimes said of a man that he is an elk. This is a great compliment. I wish I had a flute like that. Well, maybe it's good that I don't. I may end up falling into the trap of the raccoon, raven, or blue jay in being somewhere I shouldn't be and doing something I shouldn't do. For our last story, I'll share a sad love story about a girl who falls in love with a flute player, but her father disagrees. This is Thunder and His Daughter. Thunder and his daughter lived together. He had fingernails that were like long claws. The daughter wanted to marry Flute Player, who was good-looking. Her father, however, did not want her to do so. The girl said, "I will marry him." Then her father said, "If you do, I will tear up the ground and roar so that it will make you deaf." The girl replied, "I can do that also." She went away then, and her father could not find her. He went everywhere, looking for her. Went as a big thundercloud. At last he found her far away in the mountains. He asked her where she had been, and she replied, "Nowhere." He said, "I know better. You have been to see Flute Player." Finally the girl confessed. Then her father began to roar and tear up the ground, but failed to disturb his daughter. When he found he could not scare her, she said, "Let me try." She began to roar and tear up the ground as he had done, and soon killed him. If she had not done so, he would have gone on killing people till today. After she had killed the old man, she went away and married Flute Player. It is a pity that the father was so disagreeable, but it's good that the girl protected us, protected all of us from him, and she got to marry the boy she loved. So I guess it's a happy ending? I give gratitude to you for joining us today and listening to our stories. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope that you will join us again next week. Go in peace, return in peace, and may you be well. Our first story, The Flute, comes from AKTA Lakota Museum and Cultural Center online at aktalakota.stjo.org. The other stories all came from Flutopedia online at flutopedia.com. You'll find these stories and several others in their Native American flute section. Comanche flute origin. This legend is from the script of the DVD Tubat, A Journey of the Native American Flute. The origin of the courting flute is from Ella Cara Delora and Jay Brandon's The Origin of the Courting Flute, a legend in the Santee Dakota dialect. It was transcribed here from Edward Wapp's thesis. Thunder and His Daughter is from My Do Myths by Roland B. Dixon. For more great stories and legends, join me next week for another story here on Tales from the First Nations. I'm Jay Idle, and I'll talk to you next time. If you enjoy the podcast, please like and review us in your podcast service so we might grow further, and feel free to recommend us to your friends and family as well. Music is provided by my dear friend Scott Brocklesby, who created this beautiful song you're listening to, and our podcast Image of the Moon was provided by Mark Lawton. We will see you next time. All right, that's it. How'd we do, Dawa? Phones? Excellent. Then I'll share it.